Hey guys, today I am going to be showing you tips on how to save money on your electric bill. I'm going to start with the easiest no-cost solutions and move to some less common tips that you may not have heard before. The first tip is don't pay for stuff you're not using. When you leave a room, turn off the lights, turn off the fan, turn off the radio, turn off the TV. Anything you got turned on that you're not using, turn it off. And make sure that your family gets on board with this as well. I am in a super good habit of turning the light off when I leave a room. So much so that I often leave other members of my family in the dark. However, kiddos seem to have a harder time with this. So if you have a kid that is not turning lights off when they leave a room, a great way to get them on board is to charge them a percentage of your electric bill. Second thing, so you know those devices, electronic cords, those types of things that are plugged in 24/7, even when you're not using them, they are still drawing a small amount of electricity. So you want to make sure you unplug those things. Or lamps. There are a lot of lamps in different areas of your house, at least for us, that we never use. I make sure I unplug them, like the guest room. And then if we have a guest coming over, I plug those lamps back in so that they can use them. If you don't like the idea of unplugging and having to plug things back in, get yourself a power strip. That way things stay plugged in and you can just hit the off and on switch when you need to turn them off and on. Next thing, let's talk about cooking. So I live in a place that's super hot. So what I don't want to do is when it's 105 degrees outside is use my oven. So what we tend to do is in the summertime, we cook meals outside on the grill. We prepare meals that don't need to be cooked. We'll use a slow cooker or a toaster oven or a microwave to make our meals versus turning that oven on when it's already extra hot outside. The opposite is true. In the winter, use your oven if you need to use your oven. And once you've turned the oven off, leave the oven door open for a little bit to let that heat fill up the room for you. And since we're on the topic of temperature, let's go ahead and address the thermostat. So this can be a tricky one, and you have to come to an agreement with the people that live in your household. So the thermostat, in the winter, we tend to keep our home between 67 and 69 degrees. Now, if anyone in my family complains that they're cold, I tell them to grab a blanket or do some push-ups. In the summer, we keep our home between 77 and 79 degrees. This one's a little bit harder for me to deal with. I do not like being hot. So the 77 degrees does feel a lot better than 79, but that's typically the range that we keep it at in the summertime. If we have guests over to the house, we will drop it down so that no one feels uncomfortable in the house. So let's keep talking about your AC and heating system. You want to make sure you keep up with proper maintenance of your system to extend the life of it. Those suckers are expensive, and especially if you have more than one. Additionally, you want to make sure you are changing your AC filters regularly. We do this at least every 3 months. So let's talk about your washer and dryer. You want to make sure you're doing your laundry when you have full loads. When you're doing your washing, make sure you use cold water when you can. That way you're not paying to heat the water for every cycle. So with your dryer, you don't want to be running your dryer at the hottest part of the day. So plan to run your dryer either early morning or late in the evening. Also, make sure you are cleaning your dryer vents. You've got the filter in your dryer that you want to clean every single time, and then you have your actual dryer vent that's ridiculously fun to clean. So let me show you what we bought and we used to clean our dryer vent when we moved into our new home. So let me tell you about this super cool dryer vent cleaning kit. So we used this and it was ridiculously satisfying to see that dryer lint come out of the vent. So what you do is you take this, you add as many of these little flexible extendy thingies onto the end as you need, and then you hook your drill up to the end of it. P.S. Make sure you actually follow the directions on the box. I'm just giving you a quick overview. Then this bad boy goes into the duct behind your dryer. When you turn your drill on, this will spin and slowly push out all of that built up dryer lint. And again, ridiculously satisfying to see it. And it also helps your dryer to be much more efficient, which means you're saving electricity and saving money. And I am going to post a link to a kit similar to the one we purchased in the video description. So now let's talk about light bulbs. You want to make sure you're purchasing LED light bulbs instead of the standard bulb. Not only do these use 25 to 70% less energy, but they also last longer. So the next thing you want to do is make sure you don't have any air coming inside your house from the outside. So if you go around to your windows and doors and you feel cold air or hot air coming in, you want to make sure to address that. And you can do that a couple of ways. One way is buying weather stripping that you can put at the base of your door or around your doors. Another product that's also super fun, and there will be a link to this in the video description, is called expandable foam. And you can use that expandable foam in any gaps you see around windows or doors. We used that expandable foam in a gap that we had around our attic door, and it worked really well. That product can also be used on the exterior of your home if you notice any gaps there. Another option, if you live in a home that has a garage, you might want to consider garage door insulation. I'm going to put a link to what we purchased for our home in the video description, but really all we did is we purchased these panels and we put the panels into our garage door, and that really helped to insulate the garage and reduce the heat transfer through the door. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is hot water. I already mentioned not washing your clothes in hot water unless you really needed to, but another thing to consider is how you're using hot water throughout your daily life. So are you taking long hot showers? Do you leave the water running when you're brushing your teeth? All of those things are costing you money. Another thing to look at is your hot water heater. The standard hot water heater has a number of settings that determine how hot that water will get. Ours goes from low to very hot, and you want to make sure you set that at the lowest comfortable place for you and your family to save the most money. So hopefully you have found some of these tips to be helpful for you, or maybe just a great reminder on how you can reduce your energy usage and therefore save yourself a lot of money each month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you're able to save some money.